Welcome back, everybody, to the Defying All Odds show with Dylan Smith. Today we have an awesome guest, the one who started this whole journey with me, the producer who believed in this mission before it was anything, the one and only King Carl Michelle.
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, bro? This is big. This is like a full circle moment, man.
It is.
Yeah, it's fire. It feels good to be here.
So we
Salute
are,
to you, man.
thank you. We are here for a reason. What is that reason, Carl?
We have officially become international best-selling authors. The words are backwards. You're not, man. There we go. It's official.
How does from that 19-year-old kid who walked in your studio who had nothing to give you, but hey, I don't know what I want to do, but I want to do something, to sitting here on this fully produced set with a best-selling book on the desk?
You know, there's a bunch of quotes that's coming to mind right now. There's a quote from Kanye who once said, "He got that ambition, baby, look in his eyes," right? That's really what it was, man. You approached me when we were at the studio. I think I was going back and forth between upstairs and downstairs, but I was walking into my studio, and you approached me, and I don't remember exactly what you said. I don't remember every single detail. What I do remember is something that I'll never forget is the look in your eyes. I was like, oh, okay. I like this kid's energy. I like this passion, but I don't know what he's talking about, but I believe him. I believe him, right? And it's one thing when you have like such conviction, and when you have that level of conviction, not only does the person that you're speaking to know that you're serious, you start to incorporate a level of belief that it's like, oh shoot, I really think he's gonna do what he says he's gonna do, you know? So
Yeah.
that was the defining moment for me. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give him a shot.
And it changed my life and many lives. When did you have
Yeah.
the moment? Have you yet? And you can answer truthfully. Have you had the moment?
I'm gonna answer everything truthfully. What you mean?
I said, well, I said, what? You'll get why I said truthfully. Have you had it yet? And if you did, what moment was it? And if not, did you have the moment going, it was worth it pouring into that kid?
Yeah, man. I spoke about this. I spoke about this on stage, man. I spoke about this on stage. I think it was A to B Con 1, maybe 2. I think it was A to B Con 1. Brandon's event, right? The moment I knew it was worth it. Well, there's a few moments, right? There's a few moments that I knew was worth it. I brought you to the events. You didn't embarrass me. You were always making your presence known. Every room that we went to, people were always saying, "Hey, did you meet that kid Dylan?" Like, yeah, I did meet that kid Dylan. But there was a moment where the roles transferred. And I think you know where I'm going with this, right? And what I mean by that is I caught like a moment of imposter syndrome. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
We went to a conference in Atlanta, huge conference, right? That was the time that you came down with me to the A, and literally thousands of people at this particular conference. But we just had general admissions tickets, right? So we were sitting at a table towards the back, and they were like, "Okay, it's lunchtime. We want you guys to go that way. You guys to go that way. If you're super VIP." You can go to this particular section. If you're super duper ultra VIP, I don't remember the titles, but the guest speakers were all meeting in the back. I tapped you on the shoulder, real confident, like, "Dylan, we going to the back," right? And we walked there. I led the way, right? And in my mind, though, I pictured a huge room where a bunch of people would be in, and we could slip in unnoticed, right? That's what I had in my mind. When I opened the door, it was like
It was a green room.
10, 15 people in there. And I closed the door and I backed out. I said, oh shit. There's billionaires and multi-millionaires in this room. And it was like sitting in the nosebleed section of a stadium. I was starting to feel a little lightheaded, like, damn, like, I don't think I could go in there. And I backed away from the room, and you're like, why didn't you go in? I was just like, I couldn't even say anything. And then I watched you bolt inside that room and the door closed behind you. I said, oh, shoot, he really went in there. And that's when my belief level in you skyrocketed, right? And I'm like, damn, he went in the room. I cannot stay outside this room. So I walked in behind you now, and I'm like, oh, shoot, do they notice us? And it's like, yeah, they notice us. We're the only people without the proper credentials to get in this room, right? And then the organizer noticed us, and he sent somebody else to kick us out the room. And she was super polite with it. And you're like, she's like, oh, you guys got to, you were like, no, I'm not leaving. And I'm like, what's about to happen? Like, he's going to get us kicked out the whole conference. And she realized how serious you were. And then she went to the organizer and said, these guys are not leaving. And I'm like, oh, deal, bro. We could go eat in another room. He was like, no, we came here to meet these billionaires. We're going to meet these billionaires. And the organizer approached us at this particular moment. And he was like, yo, you guys cannot be in here. And you said, if it was you, you would stay. And the organizer's like, oh, shoot. All right. And he let us stay. And I'm looking like, that worked? Are you kidding me? And then we're in here shaking hands, taking pictures with all these billionaires, right? That day taught me a valuable lesson. I'm supposed to be there, right? The reason that God puts you in rooms with billionaires and millionaires is not for you to be afraid. It's for you to understand that you're next. And that's the moment that shifted for me. Like, yo, I took a gamble on this kid. And now in this moment, the student became the teacher. And I got to watch you lead and speak with confidence and conviction and know, like, I'm not leaving this room until I get what I came for. And that's when I was like, damn, Dylan's the truth.
That's a throwback. How, for the audience, how old were we? How old was I?
I think this was maybe you had to have been like 22. Maybe.
Okay.
Because this was after your events in Stanford that we were doing at Royal. So you had to be 22, I would say, if I put an accurate number to it, maybe 23, in between that range, if I'm not mistaken.
That takes me back down memory lane on that, because the reason I asked you is because obviously we're here about a best-selling book and it's a love story to dyslexia, but that in itself is hilarious because I'm dyslexic and that's my whole brand, but I wrote a book.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked you that because everything that I think that I've been able to accomplish, obviously not without you, but none of it's made sense. It's all been kind of crazy. And I've always been like, I'm that dyslexic kid who can't read. I'm not going to college and I'm going to be successful and I'm going to write a book. When most people who could read and are probably far more smart than I don't have books and aren't going to be nearly as successful. And that's when I learned it's your network, and there's two different people, and there's those who say they're going to do it and they try and fail and they sit back down, and those who are going to do it and they try and fail and they come back and they go, okay, there's a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't work. What works?
Yeah. I think to your point, man, when you know your reason why, the how-tos don't really matter. When you know your why to, the how-tos don't matter. All of that's going to fall in place. When you are locked in on your destiny, when you're locked in on your mission, when you're locked in on your purpose, everything is going to work itself out. It was Dr. King that said, you don't have to see the entire staircase, just take the first step. And the reason that that's important is like, yo, we get so caught up in the fear of the unknown that we don't do anything. So my cousin Walt asked me one day, he was like, yo, Carl, why do you think like most people aren't successful? And I said, bro, it's paralysis by analysis. People will sit there and think about the things that they want to do. This giant mountain, right? Let's just say, hey, I don't know if I could write a book. I don't know if I could start a business. I don't know if I could graduate. I don't know if I could do X, Y, and Z. Whatever that mountain is for them, they think about it so much that they do nothing. You overthinking and overthinking and overthinking and don't actually make a move. So when it comes to your goals, once you just start putting one foot in front of the other, like how do you climb a mountain? You just start taking one step, right? Start moving forward. So a lot of people are just so afraid to make that happen or feel like they're limited and they don't do anything. The whole journey will never be revealed to you. If you knew the whole journey, you would have quit a long time ago. You would have never got started. But the beautiful thing about it's like driving in the dark and all you could see is as far as your headlights take you. Some people will sit there and, I got to wait till I can see the whole. No, you're not going to wait till you see the whole thing. The further you drive, the more of the road you see. And that's what it is with any journey. You can only see but so far, but if you keep moving, if you keep going, if you keep pushing, you're going to eventually get to your destination.
I love that. I wanted you to open up about your mentor because I think mentors are incredibly smart,
Absolutely.
incredibly important in life. If it's your father, I'm talking to everybody right now. If it's your father, if it's a teacher, if it's someone that you've always looked up to, I don't think I would be where I am without my mentors, plural. And I want to make it clear that more than one mentor in life is very, very needed for different chapters of life, but always never burn a bridge and always keep those relationships. I think I've been able to do what I'm doing based off relationships.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, I've had several mentors, like you mentioned. It's definitely a plural there. My dad, of course, I'm always going to credit him for pouring into me. That's been a lifelong of mentorship. I've had some incredible teachers coming up. I talk about it in my TEDx talk. There was a gentleman, his name is Mr. Williams, poured into me a lot, tremendously. In business, the gentleman I learned the most from, his name is Mr. Darnell Self. He taught me a lot about life. He taught me a lot about success. This is a gentleman that I met when I was 19, which is crazy when I think about it. I met him when I was 19 years young, and I was hungry. I was like, I met him similar to how you approached me, and I told him straight up, Mr. Self, I'm gonna make you a lot of money, right? And what he taught me in that moment when I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make you a lot of money, he was like, Carl, like, slow down, right? Money is a byproduct of the person you become, right? The order is faith, family, and then finances. Once your relationship with God is in order, everything else will fall into place. And I was just like, wow, I never heard a multimillionaire speak like this before, right? So I started to work on myself. He taught me personal development, right? It's not a good thing to be a millionaire or billionaire and you're just a messed up person. That's not a good thing. So he taught me how to read the right books, just simple stuff. He said, at that particular time, I didn't like personal development. I didn't like reading as an activity. It always made me sleepy. I didn't like to do it. He said, Carl, just read 10 pages of a good book. And I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. But why? He said, if you read 10 pages of a good book, by the end of the year, you would have read 3,650 pages, and the average person reads 0. So you're going to earn more than the average person because you've learned more than the average person. That's just one of the gems he taught me. He taught me so many things along the way. A lot of business and finance gems, a lot of personal development gems, but I thank him for being there for me in highs and lows on a personal level as well.
What would you, the journey is so important to me because I was this ambitious 19-year-old who, when he was 19, wanted to already be speaking at his home school, already be an author, already have a fully produced podcast, already have these connections. And now that I'm 25 and have walked not much of a journey, but somewhat of a journey, I'm realizing that everything happens when you're ready and how important it is to maybe not push as hard and to let things happen when they happen. Because if not, you're going to just be frustrated. When it happens, you'll be like, finally. But in retrospect, you've already made a quantum leap.
I could agree with you more, man. There's things that we want. It ain't your time. It ain't time for, as much as we hate to hear that, everything happens for a reason, and everything happens when it's supposed to. Especially if you're on this journey of life, you would be doing yourself a disservice if you got everything you want when you want it. That's not how it works, right? If I was young and I had millions and millions and millions of dollars, I'll probably be in a very, very bad space because I would mishandle it. I wasn't developed personally enough to be able to handle that thing. That's like trying to build a skyscraper without the proper foundation. The journey helps you build that foundation in order for you to handle whatever heights that you reach, right? So if you skip steps, it's going to be a hard fall. Like, that's as simple as it is. If you skip these steps, if you skip on the foundation, you're going to have a problem and you're not going to know how to handle that problem. When I first released my book, I thought that I was going to have Drake level double platinum sales. I thought I was going to sell 2-3 million copies. And that's not what happened. But I had slow, gradual steps that led to a lot of sales. I didn't get 3 million yet. But what I'm saying is there was a lot of things that I learned along the way that I was supposed to learn. And if I didn't, I would have missed it and I wouldn't have been able to teach from experience. I would maybe possibly teach from theory, but because I was able to be met with all these obstacles and be able to figure out how to maneuver and handle these problems, that's when I learned a lesson that I could apply and teach at the same time, and that's my book journey is the reason that I started my company, Write a Legacy. I had a lot of issues in the beginning that I had to learn from. And because I learned from it, I'm able to teach from that.
Yeah, I think lessons are the best thing you could ever ask for.
Yeah.
My favorite quote I've ever heard was "No means new opportunity."
Yes. Shout out to your pops.
Yes.
And again, like I mentioned, things happen exactly when they're supposed to happen. So don't rush the process. Trust the process.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people learn from what they see, not what they hear.
Mhm.
And what I learned from you watching you is building people, not paychecks, goes much
Mhm.
farther.
Mm-hmm.
Can you highlight that?
Yeah, for sure. Again, it's all about personal development. I focus on helping people see the things that they're most passionate about, the things that they love the most, right? Because that passion is going to drive you. That's the difference maker. You can have an identical twin, right? If one person is passionate about something and the other person is not, the difference is going to be in the details. You can put two twins in the same position, the same job, doing the same thing at the same level, but if one person could care less, then the difference is going to be astronomical, right? So if you're just going through the routine in life, going through routine at your job, going through routine in your business, going through routine with your classmates, you're not passionate about it. You're not going to go far that way. So I was actually speaking to a kid earlier today in high school that he's missed so many classes, and he was trying to convince me like, well, if I do fail out, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this. I'm like, yo, do you have a failure plan? Like he really had a failure plan. Like if I fail out, this is what I'm gonna do. Boom, 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 boom. I said, listen, you talked about one day having kids. You talked about one day having a wife. You talked about one day having a career. Let that be the thing that drives you. Let that be the thing that pushes you. Let that be the thing that builds you. And just know these classes are your stepping stone in order to get what you want. I say the woman that you want to marry is not going to marry someone who doesn't have a high school degree. What are you going to teach your children? So I was pushing him to find his reason why and let that be the driving factor to fuel the things that he does. So it's not about the money that you could potentially make. It's really about the reason behind why you're doing what you're doing. So I feel like I got through to him, but it's my job to build people up and let them see the higher version of themselves, because that's how I see a lot of people.
How fulfilling is that being able to watch people transform?
Well, you know, the crazy part is you got to be okay with sometimes not seeing them transform, right? With you and I feel like this is a rare scenario that I get the front row of view and some behind the scenes also of seeing you develop, right? But when you're in a personal development space, most of the times you don't even know if you connect with the person, right? I feel energies and I could see like, okay, this person might have connected with my message, but there's no telling if the person's going to actually apply what you shared with them, you know? So there have been several instances where people have come back to me and be like, yo, you helped me do this, that, and the third. Your book has helped me do this, that, and the third. So those are rare moments, but those are so fulfilling.
They are very fulfilling. I
Yeah,
love helping people and watching me pour into, like I poured into Alex.
right.
I poured into Olivia, who now works for you,
Yep.
and being able to watch them transform in ways where
Yeah.
they've showed me and told me before, like, I wouldn't be thinking the way that I am now without you. I wouldn't be moving the way that I am without you. I wouldn't be working as hard without you. Like, I was totally stuck. And it's like that doesn't cost money.
No, not at all.
All
Not
the
at
most
all.
impactful transformational things don't cost money. Liking a post, supporting somebody, reposting, being word of mouth, showing up 99% of the time doesn't cost you anything but a parking spot.
If that's your man, you're supposed to support his brand like you own it. If that's your girl, if that's your lady, if that's your homie, you're supposed to support their brand like you own it. You know, I've seen you champion a lot of people's brands, a lot of people's careers. I've done the same for the people that I care about as well. Like, go all out. You know, you don't have to ask me to like a post. You don't have to ask me to repost. You don't have to ask me to show up for you. You know, I do that willingly because I care and I care about you and care about your brand. But not every single person is built like that. But if that's your man's, you're supposed to support their brand. You know, I wouldn't wear anything else today. You feel me? I'm like, yo, I got my D's for Dyslexia shirt. And I was mad at myself for the interview that we did before. I'm like, dang, I forgot. I had an extra shirt in the crib. I should have worn that shirt. So it's just like simple things like that it doesn't take much to refer somebody, make a connection. It doesn't take much to, support in some way. In a lot of cases, support is free. Other times, take out your wallet and support them, put your money where your mouth is. So just go all out for the people that you care about.
And I've learned that actually opens up more doors than if
Yeah.
you were doing it for yourself, by yourself.
Mhm.
Way more, because you're opening up avenues and doors that you wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah.
And
And don't expect anything when you do it
Hell
either.
no.
Like that. And that's the thing. Like a lot of people, I'ma just do this and they better
no.
like, no, that's not what, like, just do it from the out of genuine love. And if you're not gonna do that, if you're only doing this in order to get something back, then all right, cool.
It won't be long lasting.
Right.
When you support somebody, you have to support them because you want to watch them do well. That's it. That's it.
Simple as that.
Going on the journey, speaking on the journey, reflecting on this last 5 years, what can you say on the last 5 years of being my mentor and being a part of my journey and getting us to this point?
In terms of what?
Impact, lessons, relationships, experiences, your personal development.
Yo, do you know I learned a lot from you?
Really?
Even in teaching, right? Even in mentorship, you still learn a lot from your students. And I think that's the beautiful part about growth, right? You can learn from anyone at any time. And there's a lot of times, I'm not going to hold you, there's a lot of times where I'm in rooms, I'm networking and, well, supposed to be networking. And I'm like, man, I need to get my Dylan on, right? I need to get my inner Dylan on. And what I mean by that is I've seen you be so bold and so confident to walk up to billionaires and millionaires and introduce yourself and let them hear your story. And there's been times where I'm in rooms and I'm like, man, should I go talk to them? I don't know. And there's a little bit of hesitancy in there. And I'm like, no, I got to, right? And that's a blessing that I get to learn from you in that way. Like, nah, I gotta tap in to that ultimate confidence side. You know what I mean? Because believe it or not, I still face those moments where there's still a little bit of uncertainty there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as far as the things that I've watched you do over the last 5 years, man, I have watched you take every opportunity you can to impact, to inspire, to show love, and to take things to the next level, right? Um, but I can tell you what I would like to see more of you
Yeah.
is reflection, right? A lot of times we are so go, 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 that we don't even realize, like, oh shoot, I'm really, I'm really living what I prayed for. I'm really living the life of my dreams right now, and it's like sometimes we don't even realize that we are exactly where we dreamed about being. We're exactly where we prayed about being, so definitely take the time to reflect. And as I'm sharing this with you,
Yeah.
I'm speaking to myself as well,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm the same way. It's always go, 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 go. Somebody asked me, a student asked me the other day, like, Carl, what's going to happen when you reach all the goals on your vision board? I'm gonna make a new board. Gonna make a new board. But it's important to journal. It's important to meditate. It's important to really take a look at what you've experienced and be proud of yourself. A lot of times as go-getters, as entrepreneurs, we don't take the time to breathe. We don't take the time to reflect. We don't take the time to relax. It's always on to the next one. So there's a tremendous amount of things that I'm proud of you about, and there's something that I want you to like start implementing more. Like, yo, nah, I come a long way.
Yeah.
We don't look back and be like, oh shoot, I did that. So keep going, but also take some time to reflect.
I will for sure. And you're right. I don't reflect much.
Yeah, I know.
Our audience knows that too. What does the words are backwards you're not mean to you?
Man, when I first heard that title, I was like, that's hot, right? Because it speaks to everyone that that has ever experienced some type of adversity, some type of barrier in their life, and or just felt like they're not adequate. You know how like some people feel like they're not worthy. Some people feel like they just can't do it, right? And you're speaking to your own experiences, but it's helping out so many people. Just realize, yo, you are worthy. You are somebody. And hearing that title is already empowering, right? Dyslexia is your superpower. That's a big deal. A lot of people who have experienced a learning disability have felt counted out for so long. You're literally separated from everyone that you know. Like they put you in separate classes. They do all these things, and you don't feel like you're enough. So speaking to the person that felt counted out, like that's huge.
I think the book is actually, funny enough, something that's forced me to reflect.
Mm,
I read it.
yeah.
Obviously wrote it, but I've read it before I got it. But I got it and I held it in my hands. And any author out there, you'll know the first time you hold your book published is an unreal feeling. And
Yeah.
bouncing back to reflection really quick, it's funny is when I got the book, Olivia was like, "How do you feel?" I go, I want the ribbon on the front of it. That's the first thing I said.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "No, how do you feel?" I was like, "I want the ribbon on the front of it."
Mm-hmm.
So holding it and reading it a bit, and I was like, oh yeah, like we did go through that. I am an author. It's still, I think, still like sinking
Yeah.
for me, like that I am an author,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm proud that I've been able to make my family, friends, and
Yeah.
mentors proud. Like that's what I'm really
Yeah.
happy about. And then the cherry on top is I get to help people with something I wrote
Mm-hmm.
and a project that I was a part of.
Well, how do you feel though?
I feel excited.
Mm-hmm.
I feel excited. I feel achieved. It made me think about like the kid in tutoring a lot, and I was like, if I could have a conversation with him, what would I say? And I think I would say, keep going. You're doing all the right things, and like you have to endure the suck now to embrace the awesome later.
Yeah.
And I think that anybody out there who's chasing something, I think when my biggest superpower was embracing, not just dealing with the suck, embracing it and enjoying it. Like we are building something right now, and it's me. You're building you right now.
Mhm.
You're a stock. And I remember learning like some conference, somebody said, you are a stock, invest in you. And since then,
Yeah.
that was the first thing I thought. I was like, how is this move going to help this Dylan Smith stock go up?
Yeah. So what were your thoughts when you are in tutoring, when you're in counseling, when you're doing all these things and it's not really working, or you don't see that immediate improvement?
It's funny, as a personal development junkie, back then I said, you know what, we've got 2 to 3 roads, and I was on a failure plan. I was like, well, we know that college isn't a thing at all whatsoever. That's a fact. If high school is a possibility, which was a big thought in my head, if I can graduate that, I can get a diploma, which would put me in the Army. I was there.
Wow.
If not, I can be a volunteer fireman and work my way up into getting connections to become an actual fireman who gets paid to do that, and then build my connections and that be my career. That was it. So from that
Yeah,
kid,
you were working on your failure plan.
I was working on my failure plan for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
From that kid coming in early, not knowing what's going on, being the stupid kid, having an Einstein of a brother in school next to you at the times, and being like, I don't know what this book says, but Xander knows the answers that the teachers don't. And it's like, I know that they say comparison is a thief of all joy, but you're sitting there and you're like, this is my twin, and he knows everything. And I think I spelt my name wrong on that test. And that perspective is crazy because you're like, maybe I have a tattoo, you are enough. Well, in those times, maybe you're not. And you feel like you're not. And, maybe you are drowning. And maybe I've had these thoughts before. Maybe they were wrong to choose you. And then maybe you wear it on your sleeve like, why are teachers pouring into me? We're going nowhere anyway. Don't get on a sinking ship mentality, And to think back where I was mentally there, I would drive this Chevy Aveo from my house to my tutor, and I remember gripping the wheel and putting my foot down, just going, if this doesn't work, like, what are we going to do? Is this going to be my life? Am I really going to do this fireman thing? Okay, I'll embrace the fireman thing. And then, like, you're in your tutor and you're learning your ABCs and you're drawing it in sand and you're drawing it in shaving cream and you're like, I do all this and I'm still coming back and I'm getting bullied and I still don't know the answers and I'm still getting 50s. Like, maybe I'm backwards. It is me. I'm the problem. And that's why I felt so called about this title, because I gave a keynote, and this was the title of a keynote I gave. And that was my message. And then I remember talking about book titles, and I was like, I love that.
Yeah.
There's no guessing what the book's about. Not at all, not 1%. It's quite clear what the book's about, and it's quite clear that it's going to be a platform that empowers people.
Yeah. Man, I can't wait I already have the vision of what's about to happen, but I can't wait for that to be the reality, man. Like, you're going to help so many people with this message, and I'm looking forward to celebrating that, bro.
Me too. I want this book to take me out of Wall Street.
Okay. So talk to us about Wall Street.
The journey of it. So I was a 19-year-old kid who was working for pennies on the dollar. I was spending more on the job than I was making. And I just wanted to learn, and I was in a mindset of I have to prove myself, not improve on myself, which I think a lot of us young guys do, because you graduate high school and it's like, bam, you're automatically competing with 40-year-old men who are successful. Like, get your shit together. And you're like, I'm just a kid. I just graduated high school. How am I supposed to know what I want to do? How am I supposed to know what to do? How am I supposed to know who to meet? How am I supposed to know where to go? I just graduated high school. And everybody's like, yeah, we got you here. Go do it. So I think a lot of 20-year-olds do struggle with the you are enough, I am doing the right things, the I'm not behind, you are right where you need to be, the, oh, should I have done this? Is this different? The what ifs. Well, what now? What now? What do you want to be? And I think that a big thing I've learned is a lot of people don't set goals, which is an incredible concept to me. I'm big on goal setting. I love figuring out what goals I've learned, and if I were to do them again, how would I do them better? And if I were to reflect on myself a year ago, I'd never, ever want to reflect on myself a year ago and go, man, that was a waste of time.
Right.
You haven't grown. What are you doing? I definitely had moments where I was embarrassed and upset with myself, but I think to any young man in their 20s, don't beat yourself up. Warren Buffett was in his 50s, late 50s when he became a millionaire.
Right.
Steve Jobs was not young either. I think that the internet has skewed a lot of young gentlemen in a way where you're expected to have and compete with the Jake Pauls of the world who have Lamborghinis at 17. That's just, that was his reality. It's not yours, and that comes back to comparison. Like, you are enough and you are capable of what you want to, and just set those goals and set out on that journey to become who you want to be. And I think that if you're going to focus on anything, you've got to focus on becoming the man that you want to become. And if you're going to build that caricature and that superhero, what's he look like? Just draw him. As kids, all us boys want to do is play with superheroes and watch superhero movies and read the comic books. Well, if you're a superhero, what does that look like? And I remember telling that to a couple of friends and them being like, it's crazy the way you put that. And I think that this book is going to help a lot of people, but it's already helped me with the reassuring that you are enough. And I'm in a space where I can confidently say I'm in a world now where I am improving myself. I'm not proving myself.
That's good.
And it's never felt so good.
Powerful, man. I love listening to you speak, bro. So you mentioned goal setting. Like, what are some of the goals that you have now?
Well, I want the gold ribbon on my book. I have visions of this book in school auditoriums with 300 plus kids holding it up and me on stage. And I want to talk to the kids, but I also want to talk to the parents and figure out. That's why I want to let it settle a little bit. And we're all going to promote and speak and bring it to schools. And I know you came to the book signing and bought some books, and Solana said you guys are taking it to schools. I'm not only excited to just see it in schools, but I'm excited to get the feedback because I'm in this limbo right now. As you know, as a law author, the book comes out and everybody's excited, and then it goes, the dust is settling right now. That's where we are.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, now what? People are clearly reading it, and some people have finished it. We've got to wait for feedback. And based on the feedback, it's a hit. Call it a smash record, or it's a flop record. And I can honestly say that when we were wrestlers, my dad and coach used to always say, leave it all on the mat. And that was my mentality on everything that I've done up until this point, is always leave it all on the mat. If I'm going to go on stage, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to wear my best suit. I'm going to get a haircut. I'm going to shine my shoes. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to leave it all on the stage. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to leave it all on the mat. I'm going to leave it all in those sessions. And if I'm going to do it, why not just do it as much as I do? Put everything on the line. What do I have to lose? I'm 25. 10 grand in my name. I lose 10 grand. Okay. I miss some family events. Okay, I'm 25.
Oh, yeah.
And now that I'm 25, I'm looking back like, now my priorities are, maybe I'm not going to take all my PTO off for book promotion and podcasts and stages and concerts. I want to actually be at family events because those are the people who root for me the most. I get texts from all my cousins and my aunts and uncles and siblings, and my mom calls me every day, and my friends call me saying, hey, we're really proud of you. And I'm like, on to the next, which is why reflection is going to be so important for me this chapter of life. But
it's real.
In this chapter, I want to be present because those who are rooting for me and my biggest cheerleaders, I want to impact them and celebrate with them as well, not just chase that next mountain, that next star, that next stage, that next opportunity, that next TV deal. I want to be present. That's something I'm really rooting for.
You mentioned sacrifice. What were some of the sacrifices you had to make? You mentioned missing, family time and things of that nature. Like what are some sacrifices you had to make in your career and your life and in your journey to get to where you are?
As a 19 to 25-year-old, I know people in the audience today can attest. I did some, college parties here and there, but I was no college kid. I know that some people in the audience can attest there were a bunch of family events that I was not at. I know there are a bunch of things that I could have put my money into instead I put it into conferences and mentors when it could have been booze and a mid-sized Mercedes at 20. And the sacrifices I think I made was, I remember it clearly, it was the last Halloween where kids my age were having Halloween at colleges, Halloween weekend. And I had plans to go to a Halloween weekend with a best friend and live in a sorority house for 3 days and just party like rock stars for 3 days and live it up for the last, and then, basically grow up. and I got an opportunity to go build an office in San Francisco.
Mm.
And I sat on it for like 2 days, and then I said, I'm going to go build that office. And I remember, because I had to have that office built in 60 hours, and people in California don't work like people in New York.
What do
And
you mean by that?
they were taking an hour and a half lunch. They were showing up at 9. They were leaving at 5, saying I'm coming back. I was there at 6, leaving at midnight. And one of the nights I slept under a desk. And I was looking at the skyline of San Francisco, and I brought my phone out, and I'm looking at Snapchats of all my friends at sorority houses and frat houses and having a good time. And I remember, like, am I missing out?
Mm.
And it was a big insecurity of mine. And I used to ask kids my age, am I missing out? What am I missing out on? Like, what am I missing out on? I want to become this person so bad. Like, what am I missing out on? And you have everybody telling you, oh, should you be a kid? You should be a kid. You're in your 20s, X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, I want to be great. I want to be great. And the insecurity of being the only kid out of 5 not going to college. I want to make sure my parents know that it was worth it, especially because I'm adopted. I want my siblings to know that I'm not the black sheep. I'm not really the idiot that everybody may think I am. And you know, subconsciously, I wanted to prove to myself that I'm not that idiot, that I felt like I was. So sacrifices, you're working on weekends and you're working when people are partying and spend your money on mentors instead of booze and a Mercedes. And I partied here and there. I'm not going to lie. I had fun memories, but I didn't have my college years where it was a party.
Mm-hmm.
I had party memories. Life wasn't a party. And I mean, I lost sleep over a lot of things, over those sacrifices, the money I spent, the places I went, the risks I took, the people I've met, the family events I've missed, the parties I've missed, the friends events I've missed, the opportunities of weekends where I could be relaxing and on the lake with my boys that I've missed. I remember this. It was like, if you're gonna do this, you have to be willing to die for it. You're not gonna do it at all.
That's real.
And I can truthfully say I've taken every opportunity. Like, I will die for this.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, I've been having a lot of it's all worth it. Now, as a kid who never went to college and is managing 2 offices for a hedge fund now, which is surreal, and was on the trading floor all week this week, and last week did this book signing and got to bring you guys to a awesome concert where a friend was playing and we hung out with the band, and coming home and doing a podcast every day for the book with all cool people in professional studios and doing appearances. And then last night I went to a concert and I leaned over, it was a rock star moment, but I leaned over a balcony and like 50 girls were like, Dylan, it's Dylan Smith. And it was crazy. And like, we want pictures. And it was like my first, like, okay, you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're doing it.
Good.
And I can tell that the goals that I wanted of making those who I was afraid of not letting down proud, I know I've surpassed that. But now I just want to inspire everyone, and I want to invite everybody to collaborate, and I want to share opportunities with those who've started this journey with me. And that's why I have a lot of love and gratitude and respect for you, because you are that kid, you are that man who was like, there's something about this kid, I'll give him a shot. And then there was a couple, you've given me multiple shots. Where, okay, you know, this last one was good, I'll give him this one. This last one was good, I'll give him that one. This last one was good, I'll give him this one. And you just kept giving these opportunities, and to a point where anybody doesn't know, I stayed with your family in Atlanta. And I know you haven't done that with nearly anyone.
Not nearly anyone. I don't do that with nobody.
Yeah, so I took that as a huge compliment, but it was also like, I can't let this man down.
Yeah. I'm very private. I'm very particular. I don't trust I don't really trust anybody, right? And so it does take a lot for me to open up, and for me to open up my resources. I had to learn how important resources are, because I was at one point I was too open with the connections that I've made, and some people messed up the connection that I've had because of their own foolishnesses or whatever the case may be. So I just had to realize, no, you worked really hard to get to where you are, and to connect with the people that you connect with, and for them to really rock with you the way that they rock with you. I can't just be willy-nilly with my resources.
Right.
You know, so I'm proud to say that I brought you with my family, and really, you know, open up those doors in every sense of the word, and haven't regretted it one moment. So
I
thank you for
appreciate that. And
No
I
doubt,
find
man.
myself in these situations multiple times in my life where I've been able to stay with these CEOs at their families, and I've been able to stay with these celebrities at their houses, and I've been able to meet with these record execs and meet with them and hang out with them and play pickleball with them. And it's just reassures on why being authentic and true and genuine goes way farther than trying to prove, because then you're improving and you're honest.
Yeah, yeah. People could sense the BS, right? If you being authentic, then you could tell, right?
Yeah.
So that's dope.
With this book being out, I'm in a position where it's taken a lot to get to this point where I can truthfully say I'm really proud of myself and I don't feel guilty about it. But I'm also excited to continue to share opportunities with people that I've built with up until this point. But that is something that I've been doing, is I think I've been keeping my connections really tight because I don't want to mess up mine either. And that is a lesson that I learned through you, because I learned from watching you. And I think that that's extremely powerful. And I wanted to give you your flowers because I've been able to have the ability to watch you impact thousands of lives at once. And that's an extreme honor. But not only is it an extreme honor, it's an extreme honor that I get to walk around saying, you're the guy who helped write my book. You're the producer who gave me a shot. You're the guy who started my podcast. You gave me the opportunity to get to my first conference. I don't say that lightly. Right. When people are congratulating me, you're the first person that comes to my mind. If that man never believed in that kid, we wouldn't be here.
I appreciate that, bro. Like, I can't tell you enough how much that means to me, hearing you say that. And I can't express to you how proud of you I am, because it's like being able to watch your dreams become reality in real time. Like, man, I can't even put those into words, bro. So, yeah, extremely, extremely proud of you. And I'm thankful that I did it, but I believe you're going to figure it out. I'm glad to play a role in it, but you had it. You had it in you, right? It was always there. It was always there. So, yeah.
What is one thing you could tell a 19-year-old kid who is trying to figure out what they want to do, but is extremely driven and ambitious?
You said, what's one thing I would tell a 19-year-old kid?
Yeah. You give a 19-year-old kid came up to you today with the energy I gave you and said, I want to do something, but I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, that's simple. I would say, find out the thing that you love so much that you would do it for free. Get really good at it, and then do that for a living. Whatever that thing is. I don't care if it's playing video games. Get really good at playing video games. Maybe you can learn to be the designer of the games, the game testers, right? Build your expertise in the thing that you love. For me, I love helping people. I love inspiring. I love speaking to the younger version of myself. I would do that for free, and sometimes I still do it for free. So for anyone that has hunger, has a desire, and doesn't necessarily know where to go with it, just take some time to get to know yourself and figure out what you love so much that you would do it for free. Do that for a living.
I love that. What would you tell your 19-year-old self if you could talk to him?
I wish I could, man. I wish I could. I thought about it. When I was 19, right before I met my mentor, I was a wild, reckless kid that was a follower. And when I was 19, I was actually one handshake away from joining a gang. And that was because I was so bent on being a part of the crowd. I just wanted to fit in. One thing I would tell myself is you weren't born to fit in, you were born to stand out. And another thing I would tell myself, if you want me to be completely real and transparent, them girls you chasing are not going to be your wife. That's what I would tell myself. I spent so much time, energy, resources, money chasing the wrong things. This persona. I was chasing girls. I was chasing women. I was chasing, companionship. I was chasing love. And none of those women that I was chasing ended up being my wife. So I'm thinking to myself, dang, how much money did you spend? How much time did you spend? How much resources did you spend? If you take an account of the amount of times you are chasing this thing, what's your return on that investment? I'm in the negative with with time, energy, and money spent on women that are not going to raise my children, women that are not going to be my life partner. You know what I mean? So those are the two things that I would tell myself, and I think that would really change some things. You know, I would have gotten to this point a lot sooner. You know, and again, like I mentioned earlier, it's not about the time it takes you to get somewhere, but there's a lot of foundational things that I didn't need to experience that could have shaped my life for the better. You know, so being true to yourself, being okay with being different, being okay with being unique, I should say, and not chase the wrong things.
Yeah, I like the stand out instead of follow. I love that. I relate to. For the longest time, I wanted to fit in, and I was doing crazy things to fit in with groups that I didn't fit in
Yeah,
with.
like you don't belong here.
No.
Like, you're forcing this. This is not.
Yeah.
This is a force.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
100%.
Yeah.
I think that the biggest lesson I've learned that took me the farthest, so my father said, what men do is show up no matter what. And I took that to heart, and I did it time over time again. And I just remember somebody saying, you're one handshake, one phone call, one conference, one connection, one podcast from changing your life. And me, like, you show up no matter what, and treat this dyslexia thing as serious as you treat your job. And and I'm really grateful to say that we are where we are, working at a hedge fund and traveling and writing books and having friends who inspire me and collaborating with people who I look up to and making people who I used to be a moon away are now somebody that I want to collaborate with and
dope.
can collaborate with. And I wanted to thank you for sitting down and giving me your Friday night and always being there and always showing up.
Man, I wouldn't miss this for the world, bro. I'm so incredibly proud of you, and bro, you're gonna change the world, right? And I say that wholeheartedly because a lot of people don't realize you can't change the world until you change yourself. And I've watched you evolve into the man as you are today, and you've done the work, you've put in the work, and you're not afraid of the work, right? So the best is yet to come, man. We're just getting started.
I'm excited. Did the audience want to make any comments on this show?
Not you referring to them as the audience all the time.
I've got a few things I thought of when you were talking about you and I specifically remember you talking about like when you were in high school and you're like, man, why are these teachers keep talking to me? And you kept comparing yourself to me. It made so much sense, but I was also laughing at myself because I remember Mr. Z in science class.
Yeah.
I remember one time he sat us both down, and it was like there was two periods. There was one for lab and one for class, and there was like this interim period for about like 10 minutes. So he sat. I was doing like pretty decent, like in the class, like pretty good. And Dylan, as you could probably understand, wasn't doing so.
Yeah.
And he sat me like across one of the tables from Dylan, and he's like, "You need to tutor him." And I remember like giving it somewhat of effort, but I remember you looking back at me and you gave me the eyes of like, "I swear to God, if you open up that book and you attempt to teach me this, I'm gonna smack you."
So what was behind that?
I wasn't going to learn from him.
Why not?
Because I don't know.
I even remember the subject it was on. It was on. I don't know if you were listening, Carl, but it was 9th grade biology, and it was the cell organelles. And I'll never forget it. I was trying to teach you what a mitochondria did.
Oh, okay.
Powerhouse of the cell.
Mhm.
And you giving me like you gave me the death stare. You were giving me like the death stare of like, do not say organelle, do not say mitochondria, like do not do what Mr. Z is trying to tell you to do right now.
So I wanted to ask, stay there for a second. What is one thing that you've learned being my brother on this journey that I've been chasing these last 5 years?
One thing that I not necessarily learned, but I think one thing that I would want to teach you more to say is number one, you're enough. I still think there's a lot of
Talk to him.
and it's not necessarily you trying to prove to other people. I think you're still, for a large part, trying to prove to yourself. For instance, your biggest struggle is reading, and you wrote a book to prove to yourself that you can still read okay, I guess, or write okay, I guess. But you didn't need to. You're okay. Listen, you don't need to spell the best. I mean, you can read a road sign, can't you? Is that really like you're not gonna? No one needs to read a highly complex novel or like a research paper about the mitochondria in order to be enough, right? If everyone could do that, colleges wouldn't be necessary. So you don't need to be Einstein. You don't need to read or be the smartest person ever. You're enough. That's number one. And number two, just take that energy and when you are talking to someone, if they ever try and give you some feedback, just take a step back, relax, and think on it for a minute before you have this knee-jerk response of saying, well, X, Y, and Z happened because of this, and you know, because you have a little bit of a tendency to do that. Just take a deep breath, take a step back, sort of ruminate on that, and then maybe get back to them maybe 2 days later. Because I noticed when you do get criticism, you have that very sharp, like knee-jerk response, and then like 2 days later, maybe a week later, you come back, you're like, yeah, you were right.
Aiden. Yeah. What have you learned on this journey of supporting me on this last 5 years?
If I've learned anything, it's definitely that if you want something bad enough, if you put in the work, you're gonna get it. Doesn't matter what it is or how far it seems. If you put in the work, you'll get what you want, no matter what it is.
What has it been like as like a best friend watching and being a part of the journey? Because you've helped with a lot of things.
It's honestly don't know how to describe it. It's crazy to see. Like you were talking about before, like you know, we were not the brightest kids when we were younger. We did some stupid things, but you learn from it and you grow from it. It's crazy to see the person you've come from when we were in high school, or even the day I met you when we were like 12 years old. The person you are sitting in this room now, completely different people.
That's dope.
It's been very cool to see you grow.
It's been cool to have you guys here. Carl, do you have any final words for our audience?
Yeah, man. Shock yourself, man. Shock yourself. And I say that because I've seen a meme lately that said if the March 2019 me and the March 2026 me sat in a room, they wouldn't believe each other. So shock yourself with how dope you can be. A lot of people know what their 20% looks like. They know what their 30% looks like. Why don't you show yourself what your 100% looks like in whatever it is that you do? Shock yourself.
I love that. Thank you, everyone. This has been Dylan Smith and Carl, and our cameos from Aiden and Xander.
Shout out to the audience.
The cameos.
The audience is in the building.
I want to leave everybody with "You are enough," and if you are struggling with dyslexia, the words are backwards. You are not, and I love you. Thank you.
Peace.